This is Abe Friedtanzer from Awards Buzz, and I'm very excited to be speaking with Justine Lupe about Nobody Wants This. How are you today?
I'm really good. How are you?
Good. As soon as I started watching the show, I was excited to see a cast reunion of sorts, even though I don't think he was really share any scenes with Shiloh Beerman from Home Economics.
Oh my gosh, how cute was that, huh? I walked in and I was like, oh my goodness, my daughter from another show. This is amazing. But brunette, she's brunette now. Yeah, it was really, she's so, my God, is she sweet in that scene with Tim, huh?
Absolutely, but it would be nice to see any love for Home Economics is good on my part. So eventually,
Oh,
maybe we'll get some crossover down the road.
oh, thanks. I mean, me too. I would love to work with her again. It'd be fun if their two worlds kind of collided a little bit more and I got to work with her again.
Well, I know that going into this, I had also seen you obviously in other shows, but The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel as somebody who really knows like everything about Judaism because she's tried so hard to learn it all. And then here we have Morgan who has like doesn't seem particularly interested and definitely not no intellectual curiosity that Joanne might have.
Totally clueless. Yep, she's not shut down to it. It was fun playing the contrast between. I mean, I didn't think of it like that. I didn't think about it as like, oh, this is the opposite of Astrid. But it's always fun playing a different kind of take on that. The shiksa. Both of them are shiksas, but very different takes.
What do you like about Morgan? She's definitely a fun character, but I'm not sure. Is she the kind of person you'd want to be friends with in real life?
I think so. I mean, I love the like ferocity. I actually kind of am interested in the chaos. I think it's fun. I don't think she has a dark energy. I think she's kind of got a levity even in her chaos. She's like got a sweetness in it. She's fiercely loyal. I love how unfiltered she is. I feel like she's pretty strong-willed, and I think she knows how to have a great time. So, yeah, I'd be friends with Morgan.
I also like the relationship she has with Joanne a lot. It's a fun dynamic with a lot of banter. What is it like to work with Kristen Bell?
I mean, it's the best. She's a consummate professional. She's just completely prepared and a pro and kind to the entire set. And at the same time, she's spontaneous and she's responsive and she knows how to play and have a good time. So no matter how much preparation she might have put into it or how much of like she's very good at hitting the marks, but she also has a way of making those marks fun and different every time and reacts really honestly and is honestly just a very pleasant person to be around. So we had a great time together.
Would you consider yourself a podcast person?
Yeah. I go through phases of being more of a book on tape in the car kind of person because I live in LA, the traffic, you have to kind of resort to the audio realm quite often. And I think I rotate between being a podcast girl and an audible girl and a phone call girl. Sometimes I'll just sit there and make my own phone calls, but I do love a good podcast.
I love the relationship that built between Morgan and Sasha on the show because I think it's so unexpected given how, again, I think ferocious is a good way that she is originally towards him at the start, but it's fun to see their loser sibling bond because I definitely don't think even though he realizes that's his place, she doesn't think of herself that way. What do you like about that dynamic and what is it like working with Timothy?
Oh, I mean, I love the ambiguity of the dynamic. I love the playfulness of the dynamic. They're both really game to play as people too. The fact that they have that whole loser sibling scene where they're playing the game of like, how do we trick these people into thinking that we're great at socializing? I had so much fun with that. And in terms of Tim, he's just a comic genius. He's so much fun. He's so funny. He's so relaxed. He's so easy to be around. And he's creative. So yeah, we had a really, really, really fun time doing this. I felt really safe to do whatever with him. And I think that feeling between us as friends outside of the work really lent itself to us being able to kind of like tinker around with like what is this vague thing going on between them within the work and kind of like ebb back and forth between different kinds of vibes together. while we were doing these scenes, which was really fun.
And I sort of like that they don't have an actual romantic part of it because that sort of works, I think, when Esther sees their text messages like, oh, these people, they're friends. Like there's a relationship there that goes beyond anything there, and it's really hard to cut into that.
Yeah, I really liked that it didn't veer into that too. There was a kind of a debate for a while about what this would turn into. Where it was honestly, even within the first season, there was kind of like, well, is this going to ebb into a different thing? And we had a lot of conversations, me and the producers. I don't know. I'm sure Tim had his. Tim did have his own conversations as well about like, well, what would that mean? What is that? If we're going to do that, have those tracks been laid? Are these those kinds of people that would destroy a family? It's like, is it worth the, like, kind of just like fall like, is it worth the devastation that would come if these two were to actually do something for, the moment of like, oh, they got together. We had a lot of conversations about that, and I'm glad that it ended up being something that just remained in the friend zone. And yeah, there's some like ambiguity towards like what that energy is, but I liked that it stayed in that weird place.
I also love the run in with Rebecca, even though that obviously ended up causing a lot more trouble than it was worth. But I just that I didn't expect. I think there were a lot of things that you might have seen coming in this show, but that run in was a real nice surprise.
Yeah, I had fun with that too. And Emily Arlick is just so great that we had a really fun time doing that scene.
I spoke with Adam Brody just a little bit ago, and I said, you're the star of the show. Is there anyone you really wish you would share more scenes with? And he's like, yeah, Justine. We don't really get to do after that unfortunate, read out loud text message. I think there's not actually as much. Do you feel like you get to really do a lot with Adam and the character of Noah?
No, we don't. And I want more. I mean, Adam's just so awesome. He's so good. He is so good on this show. And he's such a fun, good guy as outside of the show that I can't wait for more time with him. I hope that that happens next season. I hope that we get to, connect a little bit more and have fun with our characters. I'm kind of curious about what is the dynamic between Morgan and Noah, because there's just not, I don't know. We had a couple of times that were really, really like we had a lot of fun with the parents meeting him. That was a fun one to be a part of. And I do like that there's something about him that she's like, oh, I can't help but like also kind of liking you, even though like, I don't want to. So to see that played out a little bit more, I would have a blast.
What else would you like to see from Morgan in season two?
These writers are really, really fun and they come up with really cool ideas. And I'm really excited about Jenny and Bruce joining the team as showrunners. So I'm like, I enjoy the surprise of it. I don't have like any grand ambitions of what I would like to see out of Morgan. I'm more just excited to, like you said, there's like all these surprising things that they did last season, and I can count on them to do that again. And I'm really excited to be surprised as well.
I think the show has been very well received, particularly by audiences who grew up watching Kristen and Adam in their early 2000s TV shows. Has the response to it surprised you at all?
Yeah, I mean, you can never really know when you're gonna make something that like is gonna be, it's so funny because like hot rabbi is now like a cultural thing. Like it's like like it's now like in the dictionary of like, of our, pop culture. But so I was totally surprised. I feel like a little bit like separated from, I just had a baby, so I'm kind of like removed from the like whole thing a little bit. But it's like such a pleasant surprise. It's so cool. I'm so happy that people received it. And I knew that it would be something that people would feel. I hoped that it was something that would make people feel good and make people laugh and that people would enjoy. But I just guess I did not, there's no way to know that something's going to end up being so well received as this has been. So it's really cool.
And you're coming off a show that was very well received, but I wouldn't say is one that makes people feel good because it's such miserable characters on it. But it definitely entertaining to watch. Do you feel like the Succession fandom will follow you through a lot of your career?
I hope so. I hope that it's like I feel so proud of being part of that whole thing. And just, I was a small supporting character, but like, man, what a league to be I was like walking amongst the giants of this. I mean, the best writers, the best actors. I was so happy to be in the same rooms as these people, and so to have that be a part of my trajectory, or to have that be something that's like, that people think of when they think of me. I feel honored. Yeah.
And while we wait for more news about season two, do you have other projects lined up?
No, I really wanted to take time to just be a mom until we got back into the season. It feels like a really fast turnaround, even though it's not. We wrapped in May, and then I had a baby in August, and I'm really enjoying being on my, maternity leave until February. Even doing this press, I'm so happy to do it, but it's like, it's, a separation from the baby. So yeah, I'm really valuing the time that I get to just hang out with her and be around and learn how to be a mom.
Well, I always like to ask people what they're watching and if they feel like, is really awards worthy recently. I assume maybe you haven't had a chance to watch anything so recently.
It's so pathetic. I haven't gotten to read. That just my brain is like complete mush. I haven't gotten to watch as much as I wish I could. I think Kristen Miliotti's performance in Penguin is remarkable. I've known her work since we were both in New York. She's a little bit older than me, but I would be in auditions with her. I would see her in plays in New York, in my like early 20s, and always thought that she was such a talented actress. So to see her doing such a cool, fun, like unhinged part on such a big scale was really exciting. What else have I watched? I saw Conclave recently. I thought that he's just incredible in it. All of them are. I thought the performances were, I thought it was really fun, less cerebral than I thought it was going to be. I kind of thought it was going to be really heady and thinky, and it was more just like accessible, and I was just like on the edge of my seat the whole time. I had a lot of fun with that. And I thought it was really interesting kind of parallels to the political climate we're in right now. But other than that, man, I have not seen very much.
Well, I wish you plenty of rest before anything gets going with season two and look forward to our next conversation.
Thank you. Have a good day.